Mr. Hargrave here. Doing a bit of a different video here. We're not doing gameplay this time. We're talking war strategy. Everything we're talking about today happens before we're in the game, outside of the game. A little different, a little different. I have a spreadsheet here. This is something that we use inside Pants of Hulk Hogan to determine what the best counters are for the war teams that we typically face. This is some high-level in-game play. This is not something that I even want people to share. I don't want people to post this. I don't want to get a lot of views on this. I want to see low views on this. Unlike a lot of other content creators out there that want their videos shared, I do not. This is for my alliance and those select few that want to have a peek inside, behind the curtain, on what happens inside a top-level alliance. All right, so here's how we plan it out. On the left, we have the ideal target. Then we have the primary counter and the secondary counter. I also have a little area over here for ideal. This is what we want to use. Over here, I have a chart that I'm going to make in this video for one of my alliance members, Kaz Rudd. He came to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Hargrave, can you help me out? I want to do a little better in war. What can you do for me?" This is a method that I started using about a year ago. And ever since I started using this method, I went from having, a couple fails every war, low scores, to no fails. No fails at all. I don't fail anymore. Maybe once, twice a month on a rare occasion, I'll fail. Something will go wrong. And then I'll go back to the drawing board, I'll redo my plan, and I'll fix it. And I won't fail anymore. So if you want to not fail, I would highly suggest doing something very similar to this. Maybe not exactly this, maybe your own idea, but think about war before you're in war. When you're in war, it's stressful, there's time limits. You need to know what you're doing before you go in. All right, so we're going to look at his roster now, and we're going to decide what team he should use for our top counters. All right, he has a black order of 614K. That's a good black order. It's not a huge black order. It's not a crazy black order, right? And that's going to go up with war buffs to maybe around 700. Black order normally sees war buffs hit him for about 100K. So it's going to get pretty big. But it's not like if it's a 700K straight up black order, I want to see that used on something massive. But this one, I don't know. I'm going to come back to black order. It could be used on anything. Symbiotes. They look really good. I want to see them on Doc Ock. We use symbiotes on Doc Ock here. It works really good. It's because of relative power levels. Not necessarily because they're just a phenomenal counter or anything, but more about power levels. Most Doc Ock teams that you see at our level, they are mostly Doc Ock. So what you do when you take your symbiotes against Doc Ock is you just target. You target Doc Ock, you throw everything at him, you get rid of him, and then the rest of the team goes down. They might kill a symbiote. As long as they don't kill anti-venom, you're good to go. He'll just bring them back. Usually, it's a very reliable counter for me. I've been doing this for months now. I have it's a very similar symbiote team to what my alliance mate has here. Maybe mine's a little bigger. He's got a really good scream. I don't have that. So that's pretty good. Okay, he has a straight up, I don't love his X-Men. It's not going to be useful for much anymore. I like Phoenix. He's probably taking Phoenix to tier 5. Yeah, it's a 6 red Phoenix, so he's probably taking her into Dark Dimension. We want to see that she gets some use, and I have an idea for this team that is very uncommon, very unconventional that we might use. Okay, we have a Brotherhood. Jeez, okay, it's only 390. I mean, it's really good. I mean, like, these numbers are low, like, in terms of what we need. But if you look at what he has, it's good. It's a 6-star blob, 5 stars on everything. It's a solid Brotherhood. So we're gonna want to find a good spot for that, and I'm clicking the wrong damn window. Okay, we want to find a good spot for this. Here's our Brotherhood. Brotherhood on Coulson. The thing is with Coulson at our level, we see this hybrid team where they take in humans and Coulson and put them together, in normal Brotherhood just can't beat that. So we have to kind of pick a different target for this. I like this on X Factor, and the reason why I like it and why I like his Brotherhood on X Factor is because the part of Brotherhood that shuts down X Factor is X Factor lives or dies on its ability to critical hit. And Blob stops all the crit hits because he keeps throwing deflect up, and if you have deflect up, you can't crit. So it really counters X Factor very, very nicely. So I want to see it down there. Plus, it's lower in power. Typically, right now in the game, we are seeing lower power X Factor teams. And when I say X Factor, right now, and you might watch this months from now and things will be totally different, it's just Longshot and Shatterstar. We don't have the rest of the team. So they're just taking Longshot and Shatterstar. They're sticking them with some other people and hoping that you get tripped up on them. Putting Brotherhood on them will eliminate that possibility. Okay, let's have a look at what else we have going on here. We have, all right, he's got Asgard's on defense. X-Force, that's a nice X-Force. We want to make sure that gets used, and that can be used a lot of places, so I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to pay some particular attention to you see, he is a prime candidate for what I have in mind, the crazy thing I have in mind for him. And that is, I'm going to suggest that he takes Emma, and I'm going to suggest that he takes Mr. Sinister, and I'm going to suggest that he adds that to Phoenix, Colossus, and Cyclops. And then I'm going to suggest that he uses that as his primary counter. This is like my original X-Men logo here. I think I have the... I don't have the goofy one that I'm using now for the new X-Men, but that's fine. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it on Coulson. Because that new team within Humans and Coulson, this hybrid X-Men team that I'm describing, just eats it alive. It's wonderful. Coulson goes after Phoenix. As we know, she goes Dark Phoenix. And that's what you want to happen. It's been that way for a long time. And then as soon as their Fury does his special, puts buffs on everybody, Emma's up with her ult. And she takes away all their buffs and kills... I targeted Crystal when I did it last time. Got rid of her. Done. And it just goes downhill from there for him. It's a really reliable counter and a really good way to take your X-Men, the good X-Men, the ones that are valuable, not your Wolverine and Psylocke. If you have an amazing Wolverine and Psylocke, then it's a different question. It's a different story. But hey, he did the same thing with his Wolverine and Psylocke that I've done with mine. I've benched him. I mean, he's got a nice Psylocke. But can he afford to take her up to like T15, T14 right now? No. Right now, everyone's preparing to go into Dark Dimension 4, so we can't do that. So that's why I'm suggesting this crazy team. Take Marauders off of defense. What? I don't know. We got to get wins. If we have fails on offense, it doesn't matter how many defense wins we get, at least at our level. It's different all over, but that's what we deal with. Okay, moving on. And he doesn't have to do these things. Take it with a grain of salt. But this is the idea. Think about it beforehand. Relative power. What can I take? What am I going to use? I only have... In our case, in our alliance, we get 9 attacks. Some alliances, you might get 12 attacks, 13 attacks. War takes all day. You don't clear. Totally different world. Different plan for that. For us, war starts at 9 p.m. at night, and then it ends in the early morning here on Eastern Standard Time, and even earlier on the West Coast of the United States. So, tricky. Okay, we have Supernatural. And this is a nice Supernatural, 460 Supernatural. Really good. Better than my Supernatural. Better than a lot of people's Supernatural. So we can use that. Supernatural, I like them on PIM. I think that's solid. Some Supernaturals you got to move off of PIM because some people's PIMs are getting big with big ghosts. And if you have a big ghost, it gets really hard to kind of deal with that. But his should be fine on it. It's going to counter it out just fine. No worries. Okay, let's look at what else we got here. He's got this. This is a great... Oh my God, look at that 7 red. Black Bolt. This is going to be wasted on Hydra. It can't do much outside of Hydra because the rest of the team's really weak. But this is a prime candidate to get this Black Bolt on defense with that same team that we're trying so hard to counter. We're breaking medic teams. We're taking Marauders off of defense because it's so good. And his Black Bolt would be amazing on defense if we don't already have it there. I'd like it there. So we might have to find a different way to beat Hydra. And that's going to require us to be an inventive as well. It's not easy to beat Hydra with a different team all the time. There's a few teams that can do it reliably, but we'll have to look around for that so that we can free up that Black Bolt to move him over to defense. Nice Sinister Six. I haven't been using Sinister Six on offense. Oh god, yeah, 7 red shocker. It's a little bit of a weird Sinister Six because we're not using the ideal setup, but I can see why, because he has these huge reds on the characters. And we probably don't want, they're probably not going to get used elsewhere, so we gotta kind of stick with the Sinister Six. I'm curious. I haven't tried it. I kind of do a variation on, I take Doc Ock and I put it with some other characters to make a strong Hydra counter. I bet this could take Hydra. I bet it could. I like him to try it. Sometimes we decide we're not going to win this war and we just let people know up front and we hold our boosts and we let them keep their offensive. We're really friendly here in Pants of Hulk Hogan when we know that we're just not going to try. We're not going to buy 4 attacks this time. We'll let you know. Because, yeah, he's got this really nice Sinister Six and he's got that really nice Black Bolt that I'd like to see on defense. So I think that makes sense. You know, another good place for it is Mercs. Can it beat the mercenary teams that we see, though? That's the thing. At 480, it's going to go up a bit with buffs. I bet it can, because Merc teams are capping out around 500, 600k on defense. This should be able to take it. We might have to find some other answer to that problem. Right now, I'm going to suggest that he use the Sinister Six on Mercs, but I might change that. I'm putting a pin in that, and we'll circle back to it later, because that's very intriguing that he has such a strong Sinister Six that you don't normally see. Fantastic Four up here. Don't know what he's using, if he's using F4tron or PA-tron, Power Armor with Ultron, or Fantastic Four with Ultron. He's got both a good thing and a good Johnny Storm. I don't know. Don't use this one a lot either, so I don't know what to use such a good, like, vanilla Fantastic Four on. This is the old school Fantastic Four, and he's got a really good one. So what do we do with that? I don't know if you can beat Marauders with it without Ultron. And it doesn't look like he uses it with Ultron. Can you beat Asgard? We call Asgardians Vikings around here. Just started doing that and it's stuck. You can definitely beat Young Avengers with it. Seems like, yeah, I'd say that's a waste. But you know what? A win is not a waste. So I'm just going to stick it over here on Young Avengers for now. We might move that around too. But I know it's going to beat pretty much any Young Avengers team that you see out there. This Fantastic Four is going to roll right over. It's not going to be a problem. It's going to be a war win. And that's what we're looking for. We're not trying hard. I don't want to try hard. I don't want to punch up 100k. Punch down. Okay. Great Axeman. Great Axeman. Not amazing. Not amazing. To use this on Marauders, I would want to see it at 400k plus. So we're not there yet. We could be there someday. Where are we going to put them for now? They can go a lot of places for now. What I'm going to do with them for now, just because they're just not quite there yet, is I'm just going to steal this. I'm going to put them on Skeletori, because those teams aren't big either, and I know it can beat it. So that's what we're doing with that. What was I thinking when I put X-Force here? I don't know what the hell that is. Was I drunk? I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to be? Just making sure I'm not missing anything here. No, I don't know why I have a line here for X-Force. All right, well, I'll clean this up before I send it to him, but that doesn't make any sense. What are you thinking, Hargrave? What's wrong with you, buddy? You've been drinking again? I know I want to use his X-Force on something, but all right, let's get rid of that. Okay, all right. We got a pretty good chart here. Now we just got to fill some holes. We need something for Marauders. We need something for Vikings. We need something for Hydra. He had a good X-Force. I'm going to say put that on Asgardians. They just tear up Asgardians. That's just a surefire win. Like, just do it. It's so good. You can put them a lot of places. But the place where I find that they just tear the other team apart, just dismantle them, is the Asgardians. They just have everything they need to. They were made. When X-Force came out, they said the God Killers. They knew they made this to kill the Asgardians. So use them on the Asgardians. Don't overthink it. Which is kind of what we're doing with Hydra. We're overthinking it. We have the perfect counter. It's Inhumans. It's going to work every time. But I really want that Black Bolt on defense. So I got to solve for it. Let's just say for now I'm going to take Black Order. I'm going to put it up here on Marauders. It works. It's fine. It's good. I would like to see him get his X-Men up to the point where it can be the counter for Marauders and we can take Black Order and put it somewhere else. Put it wherever we need it. But right now, it's what we got to do. So how are we going to kill Hydra? We got a few options. Okay, I'll use the new fancy logo for this. I got a symbiote Spider-Man down here. Hey, it looks cool. All right, we're almost done with this. It doesn't take long, but it's good to think about beforehand. Before you get in the heat of battle, you don't know what you're doing. You're sitting there with your kids, your family, who knows, your dog, your cat, your rock. The pressure of war's coming down. The alliance captains are yelling at you. We need to move, move, move. What do I do? I don't want to think on the spot like that. I want to look at an easy picture that's easy to understand. You make your own. Maybe mine's ugly. I don't care. Write it on a piece of scrap of paper. Make a spreadsheet. Tattoo it on your forearm. Well, you're going to change it often, so maybe not tattoo it, but you get the idea. I don't want to come up with this every time. I'm gonna back myself into a corner if I do that. The worst thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Black Order and I'm gonna kill Marauders with it, and then I'm gonna see another Marauders and I'm gonna get flustered. I'm gonna take my symbiotes and I'm gonna throw them at Marauders, and maybe that'll work and maybe it won't. I don't know. I never really tried. And now what do I do? Now there's a Doc Ock team, and normally I use symbiotes on them, and now what now I'll take my X-Men and now I'll try to hit the symbiotes, the Doc Ock with the X-Men, and I don't know if that'll work, and that fails, and well now you see how it snowballs. You got to stop that. Use your ideal attack team and use it on your ideal target as much as possible. Of course you can deviate from the plan, but have a plan to deviate from. All right, rant off. Let's figure out this Hydra. I don't like this PA. I don't like this power armor at all. Don't use it at all. I don't see any value in this. Oh, great. We have a great Ironheart. I don't see it. I don't see it. It's not impressive. We've got a nice Ghost here, a decent Pym. I don't value it much on offense. The answer. It's clear now. It's Zemo. I love Zemo. And you know what Zemo does really, really well? He kills Hydra. And look at this Zemo. This is a brilliant Zemo. I would get Kingpin the hell out of here. Put Red Skull on here. You get Kingpin and you send him to jail. Execute him. He has no place in the meta right now. He has no place in this game right now for us. I don't even think he has a place in the game for new players. Red Skull. All right, put Red Skull on this team, and then this is your Red Skull counter, and you are set, my friend. You are good. You're gonna win every damn battle you go into with this. You can't fail. This is it. Put that Black Bolt on defense to replace that Hydra that isn't. No one is getting tripped up by Hydra. No, if you're losing to a Hydra team, you're not in the top 200. Or if you are, your alliance leader's looking at you and he's looking to move you Sunday, okay? If you're losing to Hydra in the top 200, something's wrong. Because no one has taken their Hydra and has taken it to 600K. And if they have, then you're at a different level altogether and you probably have something to deal with it. Or at least you should. So just to recap here, we got his decent Black Order on Marauders. It's going to win. No problems. We have his good symbiotes on Doc Ock, which is fine. His Sinister Six on defense would actually be a problem to fight with symbiote Spider-Man, but that's very uncommon to see that. If someone's built Doc Ock, they're normally using them on offense. If someone puts Doc Ock on defense, they normally just have Doc Ock, and the rest of the guys are kind of bench warmers that they've put on there to try to trip somebody up. And symbiote Spider-Man rips right through that. We're going to take this weird hybrid X-Men Marauder team on Coulson, because we keep seeing these Black Bolt Inhumans. That's what I'm going to suggest. Or, sorry, Coulson Inhumans. Instead of just normal Coulson. I wouldn't pull out all the stops for a normal Coulson. Now, another thing he can do is he can keep using his normal X-Men against a normal Coulson. It'll just mean that when he goes into war, he has to stay away from those Inhuman Coulson teams. He won't be able to fight those at all. That'll just be off limits. You'll have to let somebody else do it, which is fine. We don't always see 24 of them. Usually it's just a couple of guys who have this like killer Black Bolt and they stick it down there just to screw us up. All right, he's going to take his very good Sinister Six. He's going to use it on mercenaries. I think that's going to work just fine. If it doesn't, we'll have to adjust the plan, but I think that's going to work just fine. This X-Force is just going to eat these Vikings alive. That is going to be fine. Zemo on Hydra with Red Skull will win every time. Fantastic Four on Young Avengers. He has very good Fantastic Four. It's going to beat any Young Avengers team out there. Supernatural usually tears apart Pym, unless it's a very big Pym. If they've gone very even with their Pym, it's not just Ghost, it's everybody, then you have to adjust or have a really good Supernatural to beat it still. Supernatural's a very good counter for it, but only if there's a bit of a mismatch in power does it work really, really well. Brotherhood is going to work on all these X Factor teams that we're seeing. These faux factor, if you want to call it, where it's just two members of X Factor and some other people. And then he's going to take his new Astonishing X-Men team. He's going to use that on any Skeletor that pops up. I think it's going to do just fine on that. I don't think Skeletor is really built to be like a war defense team anyways, so it's going to do just fine. So there it is. I hope that you got something from it. I hope it was helpful. We're going to share this with our alliance, and once again, I'm telling you, don't share this around. This is the secret right here. This is how you win every time. I haven't lost. I don't lose anymore, because I always look at this, and if I do lose, I come back here and I adjust it. I go, this isn't working. This is stronger. Let me solve for this. Let me solve the problem now, because I don't have war for another 24 hours. I have to worry about it, but let me solve it now so that when I'm in the heat of war, I don't have to panic. I know I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to waste my attacks. I'm going to help my alliance. It's a team effort, and I'm going to be a team player. I know what I'm doing. All right. It's Mr. Hartgrave signing off. Make sure you subscribe. All that great stuff. Subscribe, like, share. We'll see you later.